Compound interest. Interest rates are the cost of borrowing money, or the amount earned on an investment, stated as a percentage. Banks, businesses, individuals, and governments are constantly borrowing money or investing their money. In doing so, they are evaluating the interest rate charged to maximize their profits or minimize their expense. So, let's say Chet asked his friend Ryan at the beginning of the year if he could borrow $1,000 and promised to pay him back $1,100 at the end of the year. Chet would be paying an annual interest rate of 10%. If you are the borrower, interest rates are expressed as the cost per year. If you are the lender, interest rates are expressed as the return per year. To calculate the interest rate on a one-year loan, subtract the principal from the payback amount and then divide that amount by the principal. So, 1,100 minus 1,000 divided by 1,000 is 10%. The principal amount is the initial money a business or individual borrows from the bank, or the amount of money invested in the stock market or any other asset. The future value is based on how much interest or return is added to the principal amount over a duration of time. Depending on the agreement of the borrower and lender, the interest rate could be calculated with simple interest or compound interest. Simple interest is calculated on the principal amount only. Lending money to Chet is a one-time return for 1 year, but if Ryan wanted a longer-term investment, he could consider an investment term loan. They are a medium to long-term strategy, usually 5 to 10 years. They use simple interest. Investing $1,000 in an investment term loan with a 5% annual interest rate and a 10-year repayment schedule will give Ryan what kind of return? To calculate the future value of his investment, use the simple interest equation where FV equals P times 1 plus R times T, where FV is the future value of the investment, P is the principal, R is the annual interest rate, and T represents the years invested. In this case, P would be 1,000. R is the 5% annual interest expressed as a decimal, and T is 10 for the years invested until the repayment date. In total, his investment would have grown to $1,500. Now that we have a better understanding of simple interest, remember that's interest calculated on the principal only. We can learn about compound interest. Compound interest is calculated on the principal amount plus the interest on the interest. Ryan was still reviewing his options and considered keeping his money in a high-yield savings account where he could take advantage of compound interest. The interest earned on his $1,000 would be deposited directly into his savings account, which means in year 2, Ryan would earn interest on the interest. Then in year 3, he would earn interest on the interest on the interest, and so on. When you compare the investment returns, there is a difference of $128.89. This is the power of compound interest. It might not seem like much, but if you consistently add to your investments and try to get a higher interest rate over time, it will add up. To see the effect of compound interest, use the equation FV equals P times 1 plus R to the T, where the variables are the same as the simple interest calculation, but now T is an exponent. So if Ryan's high-interest savings account had a 5% annual interest rate and he kept his money invested for 10 years, P would be the same as before at 1,000, R would be 0.05, and T would be 10. So after 10 years, he would have $1,628.89. Keep this in mind when reviewing the terms for a new loan or investment. Will the rate be calculated as simple or compound interest? In the end, Ryan decided not to lend Chet any money. He knew he would make more money in the long term if he invested in something that paid compound interest. Ultimately, the stock market returns 8 to 10% per year, especially if you invest in a fund like the S&P 500 that historically performs better than most other investment options. So if Ryan invested his $1,000 in the S&P 500 and he continued to reinvest his returns every year, in 10 years he would have $2,593.74. Compared to his other options, this would maximize his profits. This is how the power of compounding can help you grow your investments over time. Thanks for watching.